This is a wild one, okay? All right, this is going to be crazy. It's not correct. It's not correct. But, what if Gerald Robotnik isn't in Sonic 3? Now, we know a couple things about Sonic 3 directly. We know that Gerald Robotnik is in Sonic 3. And we know he is played by Jim Carrey, who is also reprising his role as Dr. Robotnik, going by Eggman. We also know there is going to be some sort of reveal about who a new character is going to be at the end of the movie during the credits. And there's a lot of possible options for who that character could be. The options range from good to bad to intriguing but not likely. I know there's a lot of people who are saying, wouldn't it be cool if the Freedom Fighters show up? And like, well, yeah, that would be incredibly cool. It's not going to happen. I would love to see Antoine or Bunny Rabbit show up. There's a lot of people who, pulling for Princess Sally to show up. It's not going to be that. As much as I would love that, it's just to make peace with that now. It's not going to be that. That would be cool, wouldn't it? There are also some other theories for continuing this Sonic movie universe. You need something that creates a grist for new plots. Both Amy Rose and Silver the Hedgehog, and arguably Metal Sonic, all come from time travel related stories. And time travel is really easy grist for making children's stories, children's media. You want to do a crazy franchise, but you've already finished your big trilogy of movies. What do you do after the trilogy? Well, then you do the time travel movie. That's one of the stock plots you do. And Amy Rose, Metal Sonic, Silver the Hedgehog, all pretty decent options for time travel stories. There's other options, of course. You can introduce the Chaotix. They've got some sort of... I think they've said there's a Chaotix miniseries on the way. You could introduce Big the Cat. I know there's a lot of people who would like to see the Sonic Adventure 1 story happen. You could introduce... there's just all sorts of characters from the games and side media that you could introduce. I know people would love to get Tangle in there. If Tangle showed up, she would be a really nice a new girl character. Amy Rose would also be a girl character and would probably be more brand friendly, but they could drop Tangle in, and so many people would be doing web searches for Tangle so fast. I don't think it... If my theory is correct, it's none of those, though. It's none of those. Because there is an option for a character who would make a lot of sense if Gerald Robotnik isn't in Sonic 3. And we know Gerald Robotnik is in Sonic 3. Or at least that's what we're being told. Because what we know is Jim Carrey is playing 2 different roles in this movie. So, we have already established he's Dr. Robotnik. He is the Eggman. So, that's covered. The second role that he's going to play, who is that second character? Well, if it's not Gerald Robotnik, and there's no reason to assume it's not, there's no reason to assume we're being lied to, But if he's not, he could be Eggman Nega. All right, you might not have ever heard of Eggman Nega, but he is a character who exists in some video games, often not used very well, and there is some back and forth about if he comes from the far future, or if he comes from an alternate dimension, or if he comes from an alternate dimension's far future. There's some variation on how he's presented. Eggman Nega, a lot of people don't care for how he's used, but he is there, and he being in that movie would suggest, what if I'm knocking things over there. Specifically, I'm knocking this plastic bottle over. If Eggman Nega is in this movie, posing as Gerald Robotnik, because Gerald Robotnik could still exist in this story, but Eggman Nega could show up claiming to be Gerald Robotnik in order to trick Dr. Ivo Robotnik into working with him to destroy or bring ruin to Earth. And that would make it easier for him to conquer. And that would make a very easy moment for Robotnik to go from, oh, I want to conquer the world, to, wait, no, you can't destroy this world because there's nothing for me to conquer then. And granted, the destruction of Earth would do that on its own. All we need for that to happen is for Gerald Robotnik to say, by the way, I didn't tell you I really am going to destroy this planet. So we can, there's still grist for, I'm overusing that word, that there's still ways that you can have Robotnik flip to the good guy's side after teaming up with Gerald Robotnik. Sonic Adventure 2 did it. It's, there's precedent for it. But that would be so delicious if it was not even Gerald Robotnik. And the thing that would tie it together is that Gerald Robotnik, I'm sorry, Eggman Nega would open the door to another dimension, which open the door story-wise to another dimension, to bring in Blaze, because Blaze's stories often involve Eggman Nega, which would suggest that Blaze could be the character who shows up at the end if they have to somehow use whatever Eggman Nega did to get to their reality. And so Blaze could show up. Yeah. It's, like I said, this is such a wild idea. It's such a shot in the dark. There's almost there is no way this is going to happen. Like, no media would approve this. Oh, but it would be so neat if it did. Anyway, I wanted to say that out loud. I've been thinking about this the last 2 or 3 weeks. But I just wanted to say it out loud and go online and mention it. So I've done that. Bye.